Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast that brings you the latest news from around the world. We have a lot of ground to cover, so let's dive right in. Our top story today is coming from the Philippines, where a dramatic scene unfolded at the Senate building in Manila. Former National Police Chief Ronald de la Rosa, who enforced former President Rodrigo Duterte's anti-drug crackdowns, has been taken into protective custody by the Senate after an arrest warrant was issued against him by the International Criminal Court. The ICC warrant charges dela Rosa with the crime of murder, alleging that he was involved in the killing of at least 32 people between 2016 and 2018. Dela Rosa has denied any wrongdoing and has vowed to fight the arrest order, saying he would seek all legal remedies available to him. This development comes after former President Duterte was arrested in March last year and flown to the ICC's headquarters in The Hague, where he is currently facing trial for alleged crimes against humanity related to the same anti-drug crackdowns. Duterte's daughter, current Vice President Sara Duterte, has been critical of the current administration, blaming them for allowing her father to be kidnapped and handed over to a foreign court. The situation in the Philippines is complex and multifaceted, with different factions and interests at play. We'll continue to follow this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. It's worth noting that the ICC has retained jurisdiction over crimes committed when the Philippines was still a member, despite the country's withdrawal from the court in 2019. This has sparked debate about the role of international courts in holding leaders accountable for human rights abuses. We'll be exploring this topic further in future episodes, but for now, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the situation in the Philippines? Do you think the ICC has a role to play in holding leaders accountable for human rights abuses? Share your thoughts with us on social media using the hashtag #WhyBarbara'sBulletin. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we continue to explore the world's most pressing stories, we turn our attention to Colombia, where the humanitarian impact of the country's armed conflict has reached its worst level in a decade. According to a recent report by the International Red Cross Committee, the situation in 2025 was marked by increased hostilities and a blatant disregard for humanitarian law. The numbers are staggering. At least 235,619 people were individually displaced, with many more affected by mass displacement events and confinement. The report also recorded 965 people injured or killed by explosives, mostly civilians, and documented 308 new disappearances. These statistics paint a grim picture of the devastating consequences of conflict on innocent civilians. As Olivier Dubois, the ICRC's chief of mission in Colombia, noted, the humanitarian situation in 2025 results from progressive deterioration that the ICRC has warned about since 2018. It's clear that the situation is complex and multifaceted, with various armed groups vying for control of strategic territories. The Colombian government, led by President Gustavo Petro, has attempted to reduce violence through peace talks and ceasefires. However, critics argue that these efforts have allowed rebel groups to regroup and strengthen their grip on communities, where children are increasingly being recruited into the ranks of criminal groups. As we consider this story, it's essential to acknowledge the nuances and challenges involved. The conflict in Colombia is deeply rooted in history, politics, and social issues. While it's crucial to hold parties accountable for their actions, it's equally important to recognize the need for a comprehensive and sustainable solution that addresses the underlying causes of the conflict. As we move forward, it's vital to prioritize the protection of civilians, respect for humanitarian law, and support for those affected by the conflict. The international community must work together to find a peaceful resolution to this protracted crisis. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, we're taking a closer look at the evolving situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The U.S. has announced that the next international peace envoy to the region will have a more limited role, marking a significant shift in the country's post-war governance. This development comes as the current envoy, Christian Schmidt, prepares to step down in June. Schmidt has been vocal about the challenges facing Bosnia, citing deliberate attempts by rival ethnic leaders to dismantle state institutions and block reforms. He has also expressed concerns about the spread of inter-ethnic fear and the impact on economic progress. The outgoing envoy's warnings have sparked debate about the future of the region and the role of international intervention. The U.S. Deputy Ambassador to the UN, Tammy Bruce, has emphasized that local leaders must take ownership of their institutions and work towards practical cooperation and responsible governance. While the details of the new envoy's mandate are still unclear, it's evident that the international community is re-evaluating its approach to supporting Bosnia's development. As we consider the implications of this shift, it's essential to acknowledge the complex history and ongoing challenges facing Bosnia and Herzegovina. The country's fragile peace has been maintained through a delicate balance of international support and local leadership. As the region navigates this new chapter, it's crucial to prioritize cooperation, reconciliation, and the well-being of all citizens. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.